Imagine the picture in your mind. A pirate with a big hat, a shiny sword, a parrot on his shoulder. He drinks rum and laughs, saying, "Yo ho ho." You may think of treasure maps with an X that marks the spot. You may even see Hollywood faces like Johnny Depp dancing on a ship. But what if I told you this is only a dream, not the truth? What if the real pirates lived in a world much darker, much harsher, and far less free? Tonight, we will step away from the movies. We will sail into the mist, into the world of true pirates. For many years, stories told us pirates were free spirits, wild adventurers who lived only for treasure, rum, and songs. In this dream, the pirate ship was like a home of freedom. No kings, no rules, only the open sea. But the real sea was never so kind. The waves carried hunger, pain, and death. The ocean is beautiful, but it is also cruel. Pirates did not dance under the stars every night. They fought storms, they fought enemies, and they fought against time itself. Now, close your eyes for a moment and think. How much of what you believe about pirates comes from movies and fairy tales? How many of these stories are just shadows, hiding the truth? If you want to keep sailing with me and discover the secret history of real pirates, make sure you subscribe to this channel. Together, we will uncover tales that Hollywood never dared to tell. So, let us lift the veil. Let us step off the stage of fantasy and walk into the true deck of a pirate ship. We will see what life was really like. No painted smiles, no songs, no treasure maps. Only the raw struggle of survival and the hidden order inside the chaos. Are you ready to see the world beyond the yo-ho-ho? Then follow me as we begin the journey into the harsh life of real Caribbean pirates. The ocean is wide and endless. A pirate ship may look strong from far away, but life inside was hard. Food was never enough. Many pirates ate only dry bread, salted meat, or beans. Fresh fruit was rare, and water often turned bad after weeks at sea. Sickness came quickly. Without fruit, men lost their teeth and became weak. Some could not even stand. The dream of freedom quickly turned into a fight against hunger. The sea gave no mercy, and every day was a test of survival. Pirates did not only fear the hunger, they feared battle. Life at sea meant fighting. Other ships carried guns and soldiers. Naval forces hunted pirates without rest. When a fight began, the air filled with smoke, fire, and screams. Cannons broke wood into splinters that cut like knives. Pistols and swords flashed under the storm of noise. Many men died young, and their bodies sank into the dark sea. A pirate's life was not glory. It was a gamble with death at every wave. Hygiene was almost unknown. Pirates lived close together in dirty, wet spaces. Clothes were not washed. Wounds were rarely treated. Rats and insects lived on the ship as much as the men did. The smell was heavy, and disease spread fast. For many, there was no escape. If a man was cut in battle, infection followed. If he drank bad water, fever came. A pirate ship was more than a place of adventure. It was also a floating prison of sickness. Life was short, and death always waited nearby. A pirate ship was never silent. The crew worked from sunrise to deep night. They climbed the ropes, repaired torn sails, and cleaned the deck. Their hands were always bleeding, their backs always bent. Rest was rare, and sleep came only in short, broken hours. The ocean demanded endless labor. If a storm came, every man had to fight against the waves. If a mast broke, all had to climb and tie it again. A pirate's freedom was not rest. It was work without end, work that kept the ship alive. Sometimes the sea gave no wind. The ship stood still for days, trapped in silence. The water shone like glass, but it brought no hope. The sun burned the men's skin, and their lips cracked with thirst. Silence became the loudest sound. Hope faded as days passed. No wind, no escape, no food to share. Some prayed for storms, others cursed the ocean. Pirates may have dreamed of treasure, but often they only dreamed of one thing: a single breath of wind to save their ship. Many pirates did not choose this life out of love for the sea. Some were sailors who fled cruel captains. Others were men who escaped indentured servitude, or slavery, or endless poverty. The ocean was not a playground. It was a last chance for survival. These men carried their past on their shoulders. Every stolen coin, every raid was not only greed. It was a fight against chains that had once bound them. In the shadows of their crime, there was also a shadow of freedom, a desperate cry to live on their own terms. Life on a pirate ship was not only hunger and battle, it was also the weight of brotherhood. Pirates depended on each other to live. If one man failed, the whole crew could sink. Trust was not a choice. It was the rope that tied every sailor together. But this trust was also fragile. Fights broke out, sometimes over food, sometimes over stolen gold. Knives and fists were quick. A crew could be family one day and enemies the next. On the sea, brotherhood was both a blessing and a curse. Every night, fear lived with the men. Fear of sudden attack, fear of sickness, fear of never reaching land again. The sea is beautiful when calm, but it hides dangers that wait without warning. A pirate's sleep was always light, broken by the smallest sound. Even dreams were filled with storms and shadows. Some prayed to God, others whispered to the ocean itself. Fear was the secret crew member on every ship. It never ate, it never slept, and it never left. Even in chaos, pirates lived by rules. Many ships had a code of conduct. It told how treasure would be shared, how injuries would be cared for, and how leaders were chosen. These rules gave a shape to life on the sea. Without them, the ship would break apart. The code was written in silence and blood. It was not law from kings or governments. It was law born from the waves themselves. It was the hidden order inside the storm. And it made pirates more than thieves. It made them a strange society of their own. Imagine yourself standing on that wooden deck. The salty wind hits your face. The lanterns flicker in the night. You hear the cough of a sick man, the cry of another in pain. You see the tired faces of men who once dreamed of freedom but found only struggle. If these stories touch you, take a moment to like this video. Leave a comment with what surprised you most, and subscribe so you do not miss the next hidden truth. Together, we keep the real stories alive. A pirate's life was not long. Many men died before 30 years of age. Hunger, sickness, battle, and storms claimed them one by one. The ocean does not count years. It only counts how many bodies it takes. And yet, in this short time, pirates lived with fire. Every raid, every storm, every laugh around a lantern made life burn bright. They knew tomorrow was never promised. And maybe that is why their legends shine so strongly, even today. Now we have seen the truth of daily pirate life. No golden smiles, no easy freedom. Only hunger, fear, work, and short years. But beyond these harsh days, there is another side of the story. What about the pirates we have forgotten? The women who fought as fiercely as men? The diverse crews who came from every corner of the world? Beyond Blackbeard waits a world of faces and stories that history almost hid away. Are you ready to meet them? Not all pirates were men. The sea also carried the stories of women who fought with the same fire. Mary Red and Anne Bonny dressed as men, held swords in their hands, and stood side by side with the fiercest crews. Their courage broke the rules of their time. They were feared in battle, respected on deck, and remembered in whispers. In a world that tried to silence them, they became storms of their own. Their names remind us that piracy was not only about men with beards, it was also about women who refused to bow. A pirate crew was rarely from one land. The Caribbean seas brought men and women from Africa, Europe, the Americas, and islands across the ocean. Some were escaped slaves, others were sailors from distant lands. Together, they formed a new family on deck. This mix of languages, songs, and beliefs made pirate ships unlike any other place. The world on land was divided by race and class, but at sea, survival tied them together. The pirate flag was black, but the crew beneath it was filled with many colors of life. Some pirates were more than outlaws. They had secret ties to governors, merchants, and powerful men. A pirate ship could be both enemy and ally, depending on who paid the gold. Deals were made in hidden rooms with whispers that carried across empires. This strange dance between pirates and politics shaped the seas. At times, a pirate was hunted. At other times, he was welcomed in ports with open arms. The line between thief and hero was thin, and pirates often walked on both sides at once. Pirate ships carried more than weapons. They also carried songs. Each sailor brought music from his homeland. Some sang ballads from Europe, others drummed rhythms from Africa, and some whispered chants from the islands. On deck at night, these sounds joined into one. The sea became a stage. The creak of wood, the crash of waves, and the voices of many lands mixed together. Music was not only for joy, it was for survival. It gave the men hope, and it reminded them that even in exile, they were still human. Not every pirate story happened on the open sea. Many ships found secret harbors, small islands hidden from the world. These places were not marked on maps. They were safe homes where pirates repaired ships, shared stolen goods, and rested their weary bodies. In these havens, life was softer. Fires burned on the beach, food was cooked, and laughter returned for a short time. But these places were fragile. If discovered, they could be destroyed by soldiers. So pirates kept them secret, like jewels hidden in the sand. On pirate ships, justice did not come from kings. It came from the crew. If a man broke the code, he faced judgment from his brothers. Sometimes it was a punishment of labor, sometimes it was loss of pay, and sometimes it was death. This strange justice made pirate life different. Even in the dark, they had rules. They were criminals in the eyes of nations, but on their decks, they made their own laws. It was a small reminder that even in chaos, humans seek order. Not every pirate sailed under the skull and crossbones. Some ships flew red flags, warning that no mercy would be given. Others used plain black banners, or strange designs with skeletons, hearts, and weapons. Each flag was more than cloth, it was a voice of fear. When a merchant ship saw such colors, panic spread. The flag was a message that gold would be taken, and lives could be lost. These forgotten banners remind us that piracy was not one story. It was many voices, each carried by the wind. On some ships, a pirate with medical skill became as valuable as a cannon. He was not always trained. Sometimes he was only a sailor who knew herbs or had once worked near doctors. Still, he became the healer, the one who tried to save men from death. His tools were sharp knives, rum for cleaning, and prayers for courage. Many did not survive, but some did. In the darkness of the sea, a small act of care became a light. Even pirates, feared across the world, needed healing hands. When pirates found land, they sometimes sat together by firelight. There, they told stories of raids, of lost loves, of lands they would never see again. The fire cracked, the sea whispered, and the voices carried into the night. These were not the voices of monsters. They were human voices, full of fear and hope. For a moment, the pirate was not only a thief, he was also a man remembering his home, his dreams, and his place beneath the endless stars. Think of the stories we just heard. Women with swords, crews from many lands, secret flags, hidden havens. These are not the pirates of fairy tales. They are real people, full of struggle and fire. Their voices still echo across the waves. If you want more people to hear these forgotten voices, take a moment to like this video and share it with a friend. Leave a comment about which pirate story surprised you most. Together, we keep history alive, even in the silence of the sea. Pirates were more than raiders. Their actions shaped trade routes. Their threats forced nations to build stronger navies and create new laws for the sea. Even governments sometimes borrowed pirate tricks when it served their own power. This hidden power reminds us that history is not written only by kings. It is also written by those who lived outside the law. Pirates, though hunted, helped shape the very rules of the ocean. Their influence still hides in the laws we follow today. We have walked with the forgotten faces of piracy: women, diverse crews, healers, and hidden leaders. We have seen how their lives touched both sea and land. But this story does not end with individuals. It grows into something larger. What is the true legacy of pirates? Were they only criminals, or were they rebels against unfair systems? Did they help shape a new idea of freedom, even as they fought for survival? let us sail forward and uncover the legacy they left behind. Pirates were hunted as thieves, but many of them saw themselves as rebels. They rose against cruel captains, unfair kings, and rich merchants who took everything from the poor. A pirate ship became a floating answer to the world's injustice. On deck, every man had a voice. Captains were chosen, not born into power. Treasure was shared, not kept only by the strong. This was a small dream of freedom, born in the middle of the sea. It was not perfect, but it was real. On many pirate ships, rules said that treasure would be shared fairly. A wounded man received extra gold, for his pain was greater. No king or governor gave such rights, but pirates did. Their laws were simple, but they gave respect to every sailor. This equality was rare in the world of their time. On land, men were chained by class, race, and money. At sea, pirates showed another path. It was a dangerous path, but it carried the seed of a new idea, that all men deserved a share. The nations of Europe feared pirates, but they also learned from them. The chaos of the sea forced governments to make new laws. Rules about trade, borders, and safe passage grew stronger because pirates once broke them. So, even as pirates were hunted, their shadow shaped the future. They were the storm that forced the world to build stronger ships and write clearer laws. In this way, the outlaw became a teacher, and the thief became the part of history's order. When pirates raised their flags, they sent a message to the world. They would not live under kings or governors. They chose their own path, even if it meant danger. This fire of freedom burned in every raid, in every storm, in every shout across the deck. Of course, freedom came with risk. Many pirates died young, but in their short lives they tasted something rare. They lived without chains. For a moment, the sea gave them a kind of freedom that land could not offer. Nations feared pirates, but they also could not look away. Merchants cursed them, children whispered about them, and sailors told stories of them in every port. Pirates became both real and legendary at the same time. This double image has followed them through history. Were they monsters or heroes? Were they criminals or voices of freedom? The world could not decide. And maybe that is why pirates remain so powerful in our imagination, even after the seas grew quiet. The story of pirates did not die with them. Their codes inspired later ideas of fairness. Their defiance echoed in the voices of rebels and dreamers. Their songs were carried into books, plays, and films. The pirate may be gone, but his shadow still walks beside us. Even today, when we think of freedom, we often picture a ship on the open sea. We may not live like them, but the dream they carried still drifts through our culture. It is a dream of open horizons and lives lived by choice. When a pirate flag appeared on the horizon, fear spread faster than the wind. Merchant sailors shook, captains froze, and sometimes whole crews gave up without a fight. Pirates used this fear like a weapon, stronger than any cannon. This fear was not only about death, it was about shame, about losing gold, about being remembered as weak. In this way, pirates controlled the seas with terror as much as with swords. Their legacy is not only freedom, it is also fear. As years passed, stories about pirates became bigger than life. They were told in taverns, in books, and around campfires. Each telling added more gold, more danger, more fantasy. Soon, the truth was hidden under layers of legend. The real pirates suffered, bled, and died young, but the myths made them seem immortal. This is the strange gift of history. Even pain and death can turn into stories of adventure that live forever. Pirates showed the world that power could be challenged. They did not bring peace, but they proved that even kings and empires could be shaken by simple sailors. This defiance lives on in every story of rebels who fight against impossible odds. Their ships may be gone, but their spirit sails with us. Whenever we dream of freedom or speak against unfair power, we echo the legacy of those who once defied the world with black flags and fearless hearts. We have followed the pirates through hunger, storms, secret codes, and forgotten faces. Now we see their true legacy, a voice of freedom, defiance, and equality. These stories belong not only to history, but to all of us who still dream of open seas. If this journey has touched you, take a moment to like this video and subscribe. Leave a comment about what part of pirate history surprised you most. Share it, so more people can see beyond the myths and into the truth. Pirates remind us that even the most feared can hold wisdom. They showed that power can be shared, that rules can be written by common men, and that even in chaos, humans search for order. Their lives were short, but their lessons were long. From the black flags, we see defiance. From the codes, we see fairness. From their songs, we hear unity. These pieces, once scattered across the sea, now rest inside our culture. Their legacy is not buried. It sails on. We now stand at the edge of the story. We have seen the myths, the forgotten faces, and the true legacy. But why do the myths remain stronger than the truth? Why do we choose fantasy over reality, even when the truth is richer and deeper? Let us sail into the final chapter. Together, we will ask why the Hollywood dream of pirates still lives, and why it matters to remember both the fantasy and the truth. We began with the pirate of Hollywood, laughing, drinking rum, and chasing treasure. But the truth we uncovered was different. Real pirates lived short, hard lives. They faced hunger, sickness, and endless danger. Their ships were not floating taverns, but fragile homes on a cruel sea. Yet inside this harsh world, we found voices of rebellion, of equality, of songs carried from many lands. The truth may be darker, but it is also richer, filled with lessons that myths alone cannot give. Even when the truth is known, the myths stay. Why? Because stories of freedom and endless treasure give comfort. They let us dream of escape from our own chains. A pirate with a smile and a song is easier to love than a starving sailor coughing in the dark. The myths live on because we need them. They are not the truth, but they carry our wish for adventure. They turn the hard edge of history into a softer dream. But dreams alone are not enough. The truth also matters. Real pirates remind us of the cost of freedom, the weight of hunger, and the price of rebellion. They remind us that even legends begin as human lives. If you want to keep exploring the real stories behind myths, take a moment to like this video and subscribe. Share it with a friend, and leave a comment about what truth surprised you the most. Together, we can keep history alive. And so, our journey ends. The myths still shine, the truth still whispers, and the sea still carries both. Pirates are gone, but their echoes remain in our stories, in our culture, and in our dreams. Tonight, as you close your eyes, let the sound of the waves carry you. Imagine the horizon glowing with light, and ships sailing into mist. History is not only past, it is a dream we carry forward into every tomorrow.